He's pretty mentally weak in the ring. You know, as soon as things don't start going his way,
Yeah.
he starts to crumble, and things aren't going to go his way. So I think he's going to crumble.
Yeah.
Jake Paul was left stunned after seeing the intense new sparring footage of Gervonta "Tank" Davis making waves online. Instead of backing down, Jake used the moment to fuel his fire. He admitted that criticism and doubt actually motivate him, saying that every time people count him out, it just makes the fight even more exciting. Jake emphasized that he's locked in on training, keeping his focus razor sharp and pushing himself harder than ever. With confidence in his voice, he reminded everyone that this isn't a random call-out. He's been wanting to face Tank for a long time. And now that the fight is finally becoming real, Jake says he's ready to prove everyone wrong and show that he truly has what it takes to beat Gervonta Davis.
Stand on business and say the other person's gonna win. I like it.
So when
it makes it fun.
When he lay your boy out, you know what I mean?
He's my boy too. I love Mike.
I mean, Mike will move from this side to this side without you knowing exactly at which moment.
Showbiz the adult didn't hold back when addressing the critics who claim Gervonta Davis only took the Jake Paul fight for a paycheck. He made it clear that there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. According to Showbiz, Jake himself revealed that the contract includes a special knockout bonus, and that detail changes everything about the fight's motivation. If there's serious money on the line for a knockout, Tank isn't stepping into the ring just to cruise, he's coming to dominate. That kind of incentive means he's going all in, not just protecting pride, but defending his legacy too. Showbiz pointed out that most people overlook the mental side of the game. Tank is fueled by pride, and the thought of getting dropped by a YouTuber turned boxer is simply unacceptable for someone of his stature. So, labeling this fight as a simple money grab misses the point. For Tank, it's personal, a mix of pride, legacy, and competition. And ironically, Jake's mention of that knockout bonus may have just poured gasoline on an already blazing fire.
You guys told me that Gervonta "Tank" Davis is just taking this fight for a payday. He's just trying to get to the bag. Well, you got the fight itself, which is a payday, and you got a KO bonus on top of that, a big bonus. That's what Jake Paul said.
They're going to get a big, big bonus.
And they got a side bet of $2 million.
Let's make it 2.
Y'all gonna shake on it?
Yeah.
Shake on it?
Shake $1
Shake on
million.
it? 2 mil? 2 mil?
2 mil. Let's do
2
it.
mil. Go get it, shake.
Oh, they're shaking left ear.
2 mil.
There we go.
Oh my fuck.
Why not get the entire bag? Whenever I got good food on my plate, I clean the plate. There is no reason to board y'all.
Hold on. Because I'm gonna play some Marvel Rivals. Let me get all this together. I'm gonna be playing some Marvel Rivals later. Hold on, let me get my blind.
Two sugars, no cream. And yes, no cream. Because I'm fired up today. I got on the scale today and I'm 209 pounds, okay? You guys know that I'm on the fitness journey. I'm showing you guys my video journal. And I started at 217 pounds when I started all this 12 days ago. And I'm telling you, I'm seeing faint abs. Hold on, the faint abs. Woo! The faint abs! The faint abs! The faint abs! I'm telling you, it'll be back. I will be back. I want my Terminator shit. And when I'm done, I'm going to tell you guys my secret and exactly how I did it. I'm talking about step by step, everything. I'm going to be in great shape like I was. When I turned 45 and all the gray in the beard, I was just like, it ain't over, bro. It ain't over. Hold on. Let me. Ooh. Stop the door. Okay. All right. But listen, a lot of you guys calling this a fake fight and all this shit. I'm going to quote one of you in the war room. I forgot, one of my show business partners said, was it Justin Hill? I forgot who it was. You guys said, something like, and if I misquote you, I'm sorry, but it was dope. You said something like, if this is a fake fight, it definitely has real consequences. I keep telling you guys, man, If it goes on their real record or not, whatever it is, you know what you saw. It's just like Ryan Garcia versus Devin the American Dream Haney. Devin Haney is still undefeated, but we know what we saw. You cannot erase what we saw. If Jake Paul knocks out Tank Davis, there's some real circumstances. The shit goes viral, and I'm going to lose $10,000. Jake Paul isn't just going to win in this exhibition, but he's also going to get a knockout bonus and an extra $2 million.
Trainer Robert Garcia shared his perspective on the whole Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul situation, and it's a measured but critical one. He says, technically, there's nothing wrong with Tank taking the fight. It's his career, his choice. But what bothers Garcia is the timing. He explains that legends like Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson, and Manny Pacquiao only turned to these kinds of spectacle-style fights after they had already built their legacies. After the belts. The wars and the history-making moments were behind them. Tank, Garcia says, hasn't hit that stage yet. He still has those defining matchups left. The ones against fighters like Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney. The kind of bouts that cement greatness, or Garcia. The issue isn't that Tank is fighting Jake Paul, it's what that choice represents. It feels like Tank is skipping ahead, chasing entertainment over evolution. Garcia insists Tank has all the skill and charisma to build a true legacy, but taking flashy detours too soon could end up hurting how fans view his career. In his eyes, this fight isn't the next step toward greatness. It's more like a commercial pit stop that might cost Tank some of the respect he's worked so hard to earn.
Stop the contest before something like that, but I don't know, what's your just take on the whole thing?
I'm not very interested in it. That doesn't excite me. I know it's going to do really good numbers. I know they're making a lot of money, which is good for them, good for Tank, because in boxing, that's what everybody looks for. I think it's, the good thing is they announced it as an exhibition, which is, I'm okay with it. Everybody does it. Mayweather has done it. Ali did it. The only thing, my personal opinion is Tank, they all did it when they had already accomplished so much. They already did so much. Mayweather did everything in boxing and accomplished everything. Muhammad Ali did the same, and many others that have done it. I think Tank never gave us the fights that we really wanted. Never really gave us those challenges. He never really challenged himself. He didn't give Roach that rematch, which he should have. Mayweather did it when he had a hard time with Maidana and Castillo. Right away, he did the rematches to prove everybody wrong, and look at what he did. He beat him clearly. So Tank should have done the same. He didn't. That I could criticize, but then at the end also, if you're making 30 to 50 million, I don't even know what he's making to fight, to have an exhibition against just Jake Paul, I would have asked. I would do the same.
No one would say no to that, right?
If I had one of my fighters get an offer to fight a big celebrity, a big YouTuber for $20-30 million, I would probably do the same. So I don't blame him. It's boxing. At the end of his career, 20 years from now, nobody's gonna care how many belts he won or who he fought.
Analyst Bernie Thaw didn't hold back when giving his thoughts on the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight. He called out those who defend the matchup by saying, at least Tank's getting paid. According to Bernie, that argument completely misses the point. Tank isn't hurting for money. He's already one of the best paid fighters in the sport. What fans actually care about, Bernie says, isn't how big a fighter's paycheck is. It's about competition. People tune in to see skill, risk, and legacy moments, not balance sheets. And that's where he believes this fight falls short. Bernie points out that the real drama in boxing right now isn't happening in crossover bouts. It's in the genuine rivalries. He even brings up the upcoming Lamont Roach versus Isaac Pitbull Cruz matchup, saying that's where the meaningful storylines are. If Roach pulls off the upset against Cruz, a man many consider Tank's toughest test, then real questions start forming about Tank's standing among the elite. At the end of the day, Bernie says, money fights come and go, but legacy fights define you. Tank might make headlines for the payday, but until he takes on challenges that test his greatness, true boxing fans will keep asking, where's the legacy?
Rematch with Tank, and it's I kind of don't really care about the fight no more. It's starting to lose a little steam.
But I'm saying, I mean, if he stops Pitbull Cruz, right? I mean, don't you think that people would want to see, Lamont and Tank more due to the fact that, Tank had a hard time with Pitbull?
No. I think people just want to see Tank versus Lamont because Lamont, he had a hard time with Lamont. It's just like Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. People just like controversy. People just like, you know what I'm saying? So people like to see finished business. They don't want to leave it unfinished. And that's what the intrigue is. They want to people want to see finished business. So, you know what I'm saying? I think that's the intrigue of the fight. And it doesn't make no sense why they taking so fucking a fight, Everybody keeps saying that Tank getting the money, but is we getting the fucking money? Is we bidding out for the fucking money? Is he gonna give us some of the money? Are we waiting on him to feed us any bit? No. I want what I want. Fuck that. I'm selfish. I'm a fan. I want to see the fucking fight. I don't want to see no fucking circus. You know what I'm saying? So for everybody saying, oh, he back, who gives a fuck? I hope he already rich as fuck. He already won 30 million in the last fight or something. He got more money than I'm ever gonna have. I don't give a fuck. I want to see the fights. I'm a fucking boxing fan. I want to see a fucking fight. I don't want to see no fucking farce. Fuck. Motherfucker count another motherfucker pockets. They all getting paid. These motherfuckers getting paid millions. Boy, we making how much? 60,000, 40,000 every motherfucking day. Going to work 9 hours a day and shit. And then coming home waiting on income tax and shit like that to get some brick bread. Come on, man. I'm talking about the average person.
Lamont Roach approached the whole Jake Paul situation with calm honesty. He said he doesn't blame Gervonta Davis for taking such a high-profile opportunity. Any fighter would be tempted by the exposure and the payday. But what bothers him isn't the fight itself. It's how everything unfolded behind the scenes. According to Roach, there was a rematch clause in his own agreement with Tank. Instead of following up on that, or at least communicating, Tank's team suddenly went quiet and jumped straight into negotiations with Jake Paul. For Roach, that wasn't about business, it was about respect. He admits that if he were in Tank's shoes, he might have done the same thing, but he would have made sure it was handled professionally. In his view, boxing runs on trust between fighters and camps. When someone skips those steps for a flashy crossover fight, it chips away at that code of respect that's supposed to hold the sport together. Roach doesn't deny that this fight could be great for Tank's wallet, but he says it still feels like a missed opportunity, not just for their rematch, but for doing things the right way.
Right, for not executing that rematch. Is it safe to say that there was some money given to you because of that?
Money given to me, not necessarily, but okay. Like I said, those guys took good care of me. Those guys on the other side took care of me. Not him personally and not his team personally, right.
But somebody made it right for that rematch not happening.
Kinda, you could say that. Yeah.
I understand. I don't understand the position you're in, but from the outside looking in, you had a phenomenal performance against arguably one of the best fighters, top 10 pound-for-pound fighters in Tank, which many didn't believe it would happen. So you want the opportunity to get back, and I guess get the victory. But can you really, honestly, putting yourself in Tank's shoes, be upset with taking advantage of the opportunity to fight Jake Paul? Reportedly, there's about $40 million that he's going to get paid. Now, I don't know this to be, accurate, but I'm saying those are the reports, right? If you were in his shoes, wouldn't you do the same thing?
See, now, this is something that I explain and express, and I hope everybody gets. That opportunity is an opportunity that you probably cannot pass up. But it's about how you handle it. It's about how you go about it. A lot of people don't know that he actually exercised his rights to the rematch, so that contractually binds us to a fight. You cannot breach that unless you do what you have to do to handle the business, to be like, okay, well, we mutually agree to let you move on or swindle around and fight.
Paul pushed back hard on critics by making one thing crystal clear: this isn't an exhibition. He says the fight with Gervonta Davis is a fully sanctioned professional bout with official judges, real scoring, and a decisive winner. No scripts, no staged moments, just genuine competition. Jake also revealed that the contract includes a knockout bonus, and he calls it a huge motivator. not just for the paycheck, but for pride. For him, that clause changes everything. It turns the fight from a money move into a mission. He admits he feeds off the doubt. Every time people say he can't do it, he trains harder. Every prediction that writes him off only adds more fuel. Jake insists this isn't about chasing clout or headlines. It's about proving he belongs among real fighters. He says this camp has been his most intense yet. And this time, he's not stepping into the ring just to hang on. He's stepping in to win, to shock the critics, and to prove that his confidence isn't just talk, it's backed by work.
I mean, even the list you made years and years ago, Gervonta Davis is on the list.
Yeah, exactly. It's all manifestation, and it's a very powerful thing. And yeah, I think people don't dream big or set massive aspirational goals and then also put the work in. I think that's the other thing is like, I'm still doing sprints and track work and bench press and squats and all of these things for the sport of boxing. So when I transition to NFL, I'm gonna have a lot of that natural explosiveness and power from the past 6 years of training every day.
Ryan Garcia didn't mince words when talking about this matchup. In his view, Jake Paul's decision to fight Gervonta Davis is more about staying in the spotlight than pushing boxing forward. Garcia, who knows Tank well from his own experience in the ring, believes Davis accepted the bout for financial reasons rather than competition. He argues that true fighters chase legacy, not headlines or paydays. To Garcia, greatness comes from testing yourself against the best, not from cashing in on short-term attention. He sees the fight as a clever business move, but one that does little to build lasting respect in the sport.
Jake Paul versus Tank, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone's talking about it. It's a whole thing. A lot of people liked it, didn't like it. Yeah. How did you feel when you first saw that it was a thing?
It pissed me the fuck off, bro.
Yeah, why?
It's just disappointing on mainly Jake's end. You know, we're not falling for the Disney Channel bit no more. We're not falling for you're not a fighter no more. We're not falling for that. You know, you're ranked as a cruiserweight and you're out here trying to fight a lightweight. And then on top of it, you were just talking about fighting Anthony Joshua. That doesn't make no sense. And, you know, I just felt like it was a disgrace to boxing and kind of it was not a good move by Jake Paul. You know, I understand people saying, you know, Gervonta got to go get his money, you know, blah, blah, blah. But, like, we're not talking about that shit. We're talking about the sport, bro. We're not talking about, oh, you got to get that money, bro. Yeah, but everybody's open to criticism. That's the whole point of this media shit. That's why they talk about basketball players. They don't talk about, well, LeBron's making too much. Like, nobody cares, bro. If LeBron's missing the shot, he's missing the fucking shot. So at the end of the day, bro, I just thought it was a disgrace to the sport. Because on one end, you know, you got the casuals, right? The casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Yeah. And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter. Yeah. And to me, that's just, it's tricking the public, and it's kind of bullshit, bro, at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, if Gervonta was Jake Paul's size, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There probably wouldn't even be a fight.
Shawn Porter takes a fair but thoughtful stance on the situation. He gives Jake Paul credit for managing to bring real boxers into the ring, a feat not everyone expected from a YouTuber. Still, Porter points out that money remains the main attraction for most of Jake's opponents. They're not stepping in to test themselves against Jake out of respect. They're doing it because the paycheck makes sense. Porter admits that Jake has shown progress. His technique, fitness, and discipline have all improved. But earning respect in boxing takes more than that. It takes years of facing top-tier opponents and proving consistency under pressure. In Porter's eyes, Jake has built fame, but true legacy and admiration still have to be earned the hard way.
I like, when it's all said and done and when you guys go off, they go into the next man. So if y'all can make a big payday, go get that payday. The sport of boxing don't love you. And that's the problem with this sport. It's like, what Jake Paul did, man, it's crazy. But people getting paid off of it. Yeah. So if he can call any one of y'all out and y'all can get that payday, I say go get it, baby. I'm not mad at it.
For me, and I'm not mad at this move at all for Tank Davis, but I think when it comes to boxing fans, there's an essence that comes with this sport, and it's an essence that hasn't been lost. Unlike other sports.
Comedian and boxing fan Earthquake brings his trademark humor to the discussion. But beneath the laughs, his take hits home. He jokes that big muscles might look scary under the lights, but once that bell rings, they start working against you. Heavy arms, slower rhythm, and fading stamina. That's the real battle inside the ring. Earthquake points out that Jake Paul's size might give him power early on, but against someone like Tank Davis, that bulk can become a burden. Tank's timing, footwork, and ring IQ can make Jake swing and miss until exhaustion kicks in. And when fatigue takes over, all the strength in the world won't help. In the end, Earthquake sums it up perfectly. Boxing isn't a bodybuilding show. It's about conditioning, rhythm, and heart. Power fades, skill doesn't.
Well, you're a boxing fan?
Totally.
Okay, Tank Davis and Jake Paul in November. According to betonline.ag, Jake Paul is the underdog at plus 139. Gervonta Davis is the favorite at minus 180. So he's the favorite, almost 2-1.
Right.
What do you think will happen in this ring?
I don't know, but Tank should beat him. Tank should beat him, but Tank is smaller. And usually in boxing, you take the bigger man, but then again, Terrence Crawford killed that when he beat Canelo.
They're the same weight.
Yeah, they were
at the time. Well, no, maybe a little bit different after they rehydrated, but they weighed in at the same weight. There's a 30-pound difference between Gervonta and Jake Paul. Jake Paul had to lose like 30 pounds to get down to like 195. And Gervonta, I think, was like 160.
Gervonta all the way up to 160.
Oh, hold on. Gervonta.
160.
Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. No. 133.8.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, he 133.
It's a 60-pound weight difference.
Yes.
60 pounds.
Yes.
Ooh.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned and I'll catch you in the next one.